So we now have the scientific power to stop pandemics, but we seem not to have the political wisdom. The danger of a new Cold War, which will be also a scientific Cold War, which will be a digital Cold War, is growing like every year. And the danger here is that if we enter a new Cold War of this kind, it doesn't really matter who wins the war, the loser will be humanity. Hi, my name is Yuval Noah Harari, and I'm an author and historian. I'm most known for my book Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. I've recently had the privilege of adapting this text into a colorful and humorous graphic novel series in collaboration with the talented comic artists David van der Meulen and Daniel Cazenave. In 2020, we released Volume 1, The Birth of Humankind. And this year, we are following up with Volume 2, The Pillars of Civilization. The idea was to reach a wider audience. You know, the latest findings of science and history, they are relevant to everybody, but not everybody reads or likes to read science books. So we looked for a way to reach more people and also to experiment with a new way of telling science, of telling history. And this, allows us to present the latest scientific ideas about the source of inequality, but not in a kind of very, serious and heavy academic way, but rather as a kind of fun adventure story. So we now have the scientific power to stop pandemics, but we seem not to have the political wisdom. Almost 2 years since the beginning of the pandemic, we still don't have a kind of global plan of action, how to stop the pandemic all over the world and how to deal with its consequences. The scientists, they produce the tools, but the politicians are the ones who need to make decisions how to use the tools. And they didn't make very good decisions. So we have this imbalance between our scientific power and wisdom and our political limitations. So we need this kind of global cooperation, and we will need it even more to deal with the other major challenges of the 21st century, much more complicated than COVID. If you think about climate change, that's a bigger challenge, it's a more complicated challenge. And if you think about the rise of disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence, it has great promises, but it also has potentially great dangers to humanity. If we can't reach cooperation on COVID, what chance do we have of reaching cooperation on AI? That's going to be much more difficult. Scientific truth sometimes is inconvenient, and for political purposes, people try to twist it. So it was like this throughout history. The truth has two big disadvantages. One is that the truth is often painful. People don't want to know the truth about themselves or their country or the world because it contradicts some of their cherished beliefs or their political views. So they don't want the truth. And secondly, the truth is complicated. It's much easier to believe some conspiracy theory that somebody invented. I hope that over time we will develop the ability to not just to have better science. It's not enough. We need people to trust in science. If we make good decisions, the world will be better. But I'm fully aware as a historian that people sometimes make terrible decisions. I mean, you should never underestimate human stupidity. It's one of the most powerful forces in history. And you see that after the Second World War, yes, more countries realize that in order to improve your situation, you don't need a war. But you still have the historical examples that of these terrible disasters happening not because of some law of nature, but because of bad human decisions. And there is no guarantee from history that it will not happen again in the 21st century. The gaps between countries were closing in recent decades, but now they are opening again, we are seeing more and more inequality in the world, both within societies, but also between societies, between countries. And this is a very big danger. So yeah, we are now seeing a rise in global inequality. It manifests itself in many ways. We see, for example, that the automation revolution and the AI revolution is being led by a very small number of countries, whereas most countries are far, far behind. And there is a danger that we will see again what we saw in the 19th century with the Industrial Revolution. Again, we might have a few countries, maybe different countries this time, that will be in a position to dominate and exploit everybody else, the entire planet. And this time, maybe it will become impossible to close the gap. The danger of a new Cold War, which will be also a scientific Cold War, which will be a digital Cold War, is growing like every year. 5 years ago, it looked like a possibility, but a distant one. Now it seems more and more like a reality. It's not just a competition in science. It's above all a competition in who controls the flow of information in the world, because controlling the flow of information is the key to controlling the world itself. And the danger here is that if we enter a new Cold War of this kind, it doesn't really matter who wins the war, the loser will be humanity.